I'm for it.
As long as it wind blows, it's good.
It's good. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
I'd like to call our Pierson special meeting to order on Thursday, January the 15th at 3 p.m. Yvonne, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Brandy Pierson?
Here.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson? Here. Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Here.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland?
Here.
Mayor Gray Leonard?
Here.
And Ryan and I are present.
Okay. Lenny, would you please lead us in an invocation?
Gladly, sir.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you today with great thanks for another day you've given us in our precious community. Dear Lord, I ask of you tonight to especially bless the farmers and protect our crops from this bitter cold. Dear Lord, I ask that you please guide and inspire us to make the best decisions for our wonderful town as a whole. And I ask these things in your great name. Amen.
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 Everybody stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we only have one item of new business today, and that's discussion of our solid waste contract. So, would you like to start us out with that, Ryan?
Yeah, so real quick summary, we've been talking about what to do about solid waste for a little, maybe a year or so, because GFL is our existing contractor. We've had numerous issues with GFL. We've had numerous issues with the way that trash service is funded right now. Customers call and set up their own account with GFL. Pierson is totally out of it. But that creates an issue where not everybody in town is paying for trash service. So GFL doesn't really have a consistent customer base. When these issues crop up that we've been having with GFL and you call, they're really hesitant to help you because I found out they're really only helping 350 customers. It's only about half the town probably that has trash with GFL. So we looked at, do we put out an RFP? You know, we passed the resolution last year to collect this as a non-ad valorem assessment for the first time, because regardless of what direction you go, no solid waste company is going to want to come in here and only service half the houses. So we talked to the county, and the county is already picking up unincorporated Pierson. They're already picking up all the surrounding unincorporated areas through their current hauler, who is FCC Environmental. We talked to the county about a piggyback contract, which all their contracts that they write have piggyback language built into them to allow that. So Yvonne and I had a meeting with FCC Environmental at the beginning of this week. That's something that they think is agreeable to them. Basically, the way the piggyback contract works is we can't really change. We have to agree to the full terms and conditions and rates that are built into the Volusia County contract. So it's sort of an all or nothing type of thing. Scott and I both reviewed the contract. We looked it over. Nothing really jumped out at us that was a huge issue. There's a couple things that we'll talk about on here, but as of March 1st, GFL's contract ends, and they've made no communication with us. They haven't asked us about renewing it, haven't asked us about renegotiating it. I don't know if they were waiting on us to put out an RFP. My best guess is with all the problems we've had and the fact that they've only got 300 customers, they are probably not that concerned with whether or not we renew, right? To me, it makes the most sense to piggyback with the county because they're already here.
Yeah.
You know, in our meeting, they basically told us, we see you in our GIS because we're cherry picking the street. You know, there's some lots that are incorporated, some that aren't. I think that's probably our best bet. I mean, if we went out for RFP, you're still going to have to charge every resident because they're going to want a guaranteed customer base. And you're probably looking at paying way higher rates because if they've got to drive all the way to Pierson just to service 500 or 600 houses, Lake Helen, I think, is kind of like that. Lake Helen, I think they're paying like $39 a month for trash versus the county's paying $25 right now. So even if we did put it out for RFP, it might be considerably more expensive based on the responses that we get. So we called this meeting mainly because if we're going to move forward with this, FCC Environmental wants something from us stating that, you know, we are pursuing this, that we want to partner with them, but I can't, you know, Yvonne and I are not authorized to do that without council decision. So this is your chance to ask some questions, and depending on how you feel about it, you can give us the go-ahead to work with Scott and sign an agreement.
I have a question. There was the issue about the dumpsters, that they had to go with that company. Is it this?
This is residential only.
Okay,
So
so commercials?
commercial is
do
on
it.
their own, and which a lot of them like that, because a lot of them don't want to be forced to have, especially GFL, because we did have multiple businesses in town who had issues with their front-loading dumpsters.
Right. So our
So this would
contract
just be residential.
expires March 1st?
Correct.
Is it March 1st or March 30th?
March 1st.
Because I think everybody's, when we get our next statement, or maybe the one we just paid, it goes through the end of March.
Well, and that's an interesting question, because I do have a bill in here from, Marcy gave me one of her bills, and she is billed to 3/31. So
That's what I thought.
my guess is that if you had to, you could probably reach out to GFL and say, hey, our contract ends, but you've charged everybody through the 31st. Maybe you could convince them to pick up for another month, and that might buy us another 30 days to put everything together. But I didn't want to reach out to GFL until we had a game plan for
So
what we were doing.
in the interim, this won't piggyback with the county until when? When will that commence?
As soon
when it's
as
on
we
the
sign a
taxes?
contract for them,
With FCC?
yes. So whatever we date that, I mean, it would probably be effective March 1st. Yeah.
Well, the only question I would have then, so we wouldn't pay for trash service for the year?
Who's
Because
that?
the taxes have already come out.
Right, so what's gonna happen is
That-
you're going to, that first year, you're gonna get billed for like a year and 10 months. It's gonna,
Right.
so that's gonna be the hardest sell, because residents are not gonna be happy when they see they've been billed for almost 2 years of stuff on their first tax bill. But my thing is, most of them are already paying it now with GFL, so they're just not gonna pay for 3/4 or whatever it is, and then it'll come out of their, you know, when they get their tax bill. Now, since you bring that up, I mean, there are a couple things that I kind of want to go over with you so you understand how this is going to work. The way the county currently does it is the county sends a list every month of all the dwelling units that have been picked up, and it's so much per dwelling unit. So the county is not invoiced by FCC. The county just knows we have to send FCC our monthly payment, and, you know, for all the residences that are being serviced, right? So the town is going to have to pay for that out of reserves probably for the first 10 or 11 months until the non-ad valorem assessment goes through. And then we can reimburse ourselves. But you're talking about probably $200,000 to, you know, pay for this for basically a full year with no, you know, non-ad valorem assessment money, which we have that in reserves, and we will put it back. But that's the easiest way to fund it for the first year, or 11 months.
So FCC would be paid, we just would not.
Correct.
Be
We're the
receiving
ones
the
that-
money off the tax bill.
Right. So in other words, if we do during the trim stuff in the late summer, and Scott and I are working with an attorney named Chris Rowe in Tallahassee to set that up to make sure it's done properly. But he told us that, yes, you could prorate that first year. So you would essentially be charging whatever it is, 20 months or 22 months on the non-ad valorem assessment. So that January, you would start getting that money, and you could start reimbursing, the money that you took from reserves. But yes, FCC will get paid monthly. So, But that would be regardless of who you're using. I
When
mean,
it comes
that's,
to getting that reimbursement back, would it be like a one-time charge on the ad valorem taxes, or?
for that first
That
year,
first
yes.
year.
And then every year after that, it would just be whatever your 12 months of trash would be. So like right now, like, 299.03 is what unincorporated Pierson got charged on their non-ad valorem for this year.
So what about a property that maybe it's not valued enough that they have a property tax bill? How does that work?
It's not a tax, it's a non-ad valorem assessment. So
Okay.
even if you're a veteran, any of that stuff, even if you're ag exempt but you have a residence, any of that, you still will get billed for trash.
That'll be added on to your tax bill.
So like, we had someone come and she said, I'm a veteran, I don't pay property taxes essentially. She would still get a $299 bill
'cause
from
it's
the
not
property
actually-
appraiser because it's an assessment.
It's
for
not
trash.
actually a
It's not
tax bill, it's a charge.
An assessment,
For
okay.
the service.
So they would still receive
Service
that.
charge.
Yes, it's for the trash pickup, it doesn't have anything to do with actual tax, property tax.
We also will have to initially provide cans to the people that don't have them. So the current customers, the 355 people that currently have a can, our contract with GFL states that once their contract ends, those cans belong to the town of Pierson. So those 355 customers will have one. FCC says that they can use those, they can continue picking those up. But whatever the difference is between those 355 people and the actual number of residences, you're going to have to provide them with a can. So that will also probably we'll have to reallocate some money in the budget to buy probably 300 cans to start us out.
And what is the cost of a can?
About $50 a can. You're talking $15,000, something like that. So,
Is that how it's always been? Does the trash people, they don't provide a bin?
I just had to replace the trash can because mine broke. I mean, I had it for years, and I don't think I was charged anything
You're
for
not.
that can when they replaced it.
The way-
Initially, I don't remember, it's been so long ago.
the way
But
it's
I had to
written
have it
in the
replaced.
contract is if yours is damaged or something happens to it, they will replace it, or if you're a new resident, they'll replace it. But the way it worked with the county is the current county contract does not say that they provide them initially because the predecessor to FCC provided them, and then when that contract ended, everyone already had them. So the county basically just said, keep using those. And we have to go by what the county contract says.
Well, it's
So you have to assume every resident has a can. and
Most people
half of ours don't.
have trash cans, but on trash day, you can ride around town, and you can tell who doesn't pay their bill or who doesn't have an account or whatever,
Right.
because there won't be a can out front of their house.
Well, and it needs to be the can that your truck can pick up. So just setting whatever out there is not going to be adequate. Yeah.
Well, these, looking at this thing, the big cans are the 95-gallon rollout cans, but it also says 2 32-gallon normal trash cans, so they're going to have to manually pick them up.
Yeah, but that's usually for yard debris.
So let me ask you this, if it's trash
Want
pickup
us to
day,
introduce ourselves?
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Sure, you know that.
Please do.
yes. Sorry.
Good afternoon. I'm Charles Merkley with FCC, and I represent FCC North America. With me today is Mike Shannon, the general manager that's over this contract. But to answer your question, yes, we can handle 32-gallon cans. We have a rear loader with dumping mechanisms on the back of that.
Okay. So the cans are dumped into the rear of the garbage truck like they normally do.
Correct.
So if you had an extra 32-gallon can there with a couple extra bags in it, they could just...
We do, we pick that up. That's the requirement of the contract, sir.
Let me ask you this. If I had 2 extra bags of garbage, which I very, very seldom have that, but if I did, can I set them by the can or do they have to be in a container?
They should technically be in a container, 32-gallon, but we'd most likely pick those up, sir. Yep.
I mean, obviously, I'd want to put mine in a can to keep a critter from getting in it.
Yeah.
So who do we contact for bulk collection?
you don't contact anyone, we would collect that on the same day your garbage is picked up.
Okay, because it says must be scheduled in advance.
Yeah, I noticed that's on there, but the way we had set it up with Volusia County is we pick up everything in the rear loader.
Okay,
So-
okay.
If I have, what would be bulk?
The only thing that, we're not able to pick up in a rear loader would be like a refrigerator with Freon in it, just because of, the hazardous stuff in that.
A bulk item would be a piece of furniture, table.
So we would call, or the customer?
No, you just put it out.
we just put it out. The only thing that we would ask you to call on would be a refrigerator or tires, because we just
So
can't.
if it's something that the normal garbage truck can't pick up, they would know that it was there, and then
Yes,
it would be picked up?
we'll pick it up with another vehicle.
Okay.
But we can pretty much pick up anything in the rear loader besides hazardous stuff, like a refrigerator with Freon or tires.
I'll say this from personal experience with this company. I mean, I don't have it at my house, but my daughter has it in DeLeon Springs. She lives on the backside of Spring Garden Ranch, and they pretty much pick up
Everything.
whatever she puts out there.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, that was the purpose of going with the rear loader and the semi-automated, so we can do a one-stop shop, so we don't have to keep coming back. So that was a selling point to Volusia County. The original contract was, hey, we'll come, we'll pick it up, we'll go. Then we don't need to be worrying about phone calls and all of that.
I'm unincorporated, so they pick up my trash now, and I have never had a problem. I put dressers, I put tables, I put an extra bag full of boxes that I broke down, they pick it up.
They
My mom
pick up
has it,
mine in Palm Coast as
yeah,
well,
same.
so I haven't had any issues.
yes, sir, you had a question? Can you tell us who you are and where you live?
I live 545 Anna Road.
Okay.
So I have GFL right now, and I'm paid up with them.
Mhm.
I've had issues with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go away with GFL.
If we take it.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
we're
that's what we're discussing.
discussing today.
I've paid them up. And now
How far in advance have you paid them?
I'm good
Just till
for the
March.
next 2 months. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know, because
So
they have
usually
a
they pay-
sticker on my can.
Right, so I think the bill that just came out was through the end of the 31st of March, so that's what we're going to have to talk to them about, is even though their contract ends on the 1st of March, they really probably should pick up till the 31st because people paid for the quarter.
Yeah.
So,
And the quarter doesn't end right till the 31st.
Exactly,
Yeah.
to the end of the month.
Yeah, because I'm, paid in full.
Right.
Well, we wouldn't, GFL would pick it up till their contract ran out.
But that's
Which
March 1st.
correct.
It is March 1st, but every customer in Pierson that has them is paid up till the end of the month, end of March.
I can't speak for
Well,
GFL.
I can't either, but
We can deal with that, but like I said, I just wanted to see what the council's direction was before I started reaching out to GFL, because GFL is going to ask some questions and I need to be able to have answers.
They're probably not gonna be
But
very
that is
nice about
something,
it.
that is something you need clarification on. And I don't know if they let people pay ahead past the quarter,
They do.
because if they do, they're going to have to probably refund people.
Well, and that's the thing, is
Right.
I don't know how many people in this town has had arguments with GFL.
Oh, trust me, we know. We have arguments with GFL too. You're not alone there.
you're definitely not by yourself. I've had my discussions with them as a customer.
We get very conflicting answers even when we call, and it makes it very difficult to work with GFL. But, price-wise, it's about this, it's like $3 difference a month. So, I mean,
I don't have a problem with the price.
Right.
I just want to know that my trash is going to be picked up.
Yeah.
On a regular basis.
yeah.
We do the same type, we call this subscription work. We do the same thing, and if people can come and go, they can quit whenever they want. If they got a balance, we have to credit it, period. I mean, there's nothing to stop this gentleman from quitting service,
Right.
because it's not mandatory right now. The town of Pierson does not make it mandatory for you residents. When you now go into this Volusia County contract, it's mandatory. So we don't bill anybody. We bill the town. The town gives us a house count. And then they'll have to settle up with the tax assessor for that piece. But we don't care. We're picking up everything.
Right.
Because we don't do subscription.
Right.
But if this gentleman owes and paid for some people may have paid annually.
Yeah, right.
Right.
They owe him a credit,
Correct.
period. Now,
Yes, they do.
how they go about that,
Right.
you know, that's,
Is another thing, another.
yeah, that's another fish in the kettle.
And I do have an active customer list from GFL, but it's literally just addresses and names. They didn't tell me when they were paid through. So in other words, I don't know if it's paid through the quarter, paid semi-annually, annually. I'm assuming GFL probably has that information internally, but they will have to true up with everyone at the end and issue refunds if you've paid past that first quarter.
Right,
So-
and if they're not gonna
But we
honor
will
it.
make sure that's taken care of, so. Interesting that you brought up the thing about it currently in Pierson not being mandatory, so that's another thing I was going to touch on real quick. Scott, our attorney, originally told me that we would have to pass an ordinance that made trash mandatory and that made collecting money through non-ad valorem assessments mandatory, but it's already in our ordinances. It has been since 1990, and we just have not been following it. So I printed a copy for you just so you have proof of it, but Section 12-17 fees, the charges fixed by the town and contractor for collection and removal and disposal of all garbage or trash shall be entered into respective amounts as charges against each owner, occupant, tenant, or lessee, and the amount so fixed and charged. Residential units shall be collected one time per year by the town through an annual non-ad valorem tax roll assessment levied on each taxable residential unit within the town. So that's the first one, and then the second one would be the last section, 12-19, applicability. This ordinance, which established a mandatory refuse collection service, is applicable to all residential, and this says and commercial, so we might have to strike that, units within the incorporated areas of the town of Pierson, regardless of the degree of occupancy or utilization, i.e. part-time or full-time. So it's already mandated that everyone has trash service and it's collected by non-ad valorem assessment.
So if there's a dwelling on that property, it's going to be.
If there is a residential dwelling on that property, it is supposed to have trash service, just like it's supposed to have water service.
So Ryan, if I heard you that correctly on the applicability, it does mention commercial, right?
Yes, we might have to do an ordinance to change that if we don't want.
We'll collect your commercial.
Pardon?
We'll collect the commercial. We have trucks up here doing the schools. That way, it's all exclusive to one hauler. That's your choice. It's already in your ordinance. We just have to give you rates. Our rates would be similar to the school board. Actually, you could piggyback off that as well.
You would just have to have a conversation as council as to whether you wanted to make it mandatory for commercial people to have trash.
I just knew we had the issue like with Pierson, Fern and Green, remember?
Right.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Because they couldn't,
They couldn't use a
Change
different
companies.
company.
right.
But it looks like somebody did their homework on your ordinances. So if you wanted to go exclusive, you could. Now, you don't have to, and if you don't want to, we understand, but it's available.
Okay. And you also have they have a facilities contract, which we may also have to piggyback on, which would allow them to pick up the towns. Because like we do stuff at the airport, we do stuff at, the parks. We do stuff for the 4th of July. We have that roll-off container that residents use. So that would probably fall more under a facilities contract. So we may have to look into also piggybacking on that.
Yes, the roll-off that the town uses, that's GFL.
That would be referencing what he's talking about. But we provide the school board, the curbside, and the facilities for the school, Volusia County School Board, Volusia County Facilities, and Volusia County Solid Waste. That's all under our umbrella. different contracts, but all under
So
our,
you pick up currently at like Taylor High School?
yes.
I remember years ago when this discussion was up regarding business owners, when Herbie was on here and you know, Sammy, Tom,
Yeah.
and at that time, any business owner that currently had a dumpster was not required to have the garbage picked up at their residence.
That is correct. Because they were allowed to put it in a commercial
In the commercial
dumpster.
dumpster, right.
But if we don't
But
do
we're not doing apples to apples there. Now you're doing a piggyback on a residential contract, which doesn't allow that. And you can't change those provisions,
If it's
nor
gonna-
can we.
If it was going to be placed on the ad valorem tax roll, there's no way you could do that. I mean, the way that happened is everybody was paying their own individual bill.
That's correct. That is correct.
So they didn't pay the individual bill for his
They
residence.
paid through their business.
They paid it through the business and used their dumpster, their commercial dumpster.
Now, do you know anything? I talked to a man named Ernest Pierson he used to work, I think, for the property appraiser a long time ago. But he comes up with the list every month for like Oak Hill and Lake Helen for their number of dwelling units and stuff. He made some comment to me about if you have ag land that's over 10 acres, you can ask to be exempted from that.
That is correct.
So in other words, if you have a home
Volusia,
on more
too.
than 10 acres, in Volusia, I guess you're allowed to exempt yourself from residential trash service. Because he said you'd have to look at that too when you're selecting, who's a dwelling unit and who's,
So that
So
would be
there
if
is
you had
that.
a dwelling on 10 acres or more.
which there's a lot of people that probably have
Yeah,
10
there's a
plus
lot of
acres of
people.
ag land.
That's where I'm getting at. There's a lot of big dumpsters here,
Right.
Pierson, scattered out all over.
Right.
And, I just wanted to bring that up and, make everyone aware
Right.
of, if-
They have to show proof of that, the resident, and then they turn it into the county, et cetera, or to the town, and then we get told that, hey, Mr. Smith over on ABC Street is ag exempt, and then obviously we wouldn't get paid for it, we wouldn't pick it up.
Right.
Well, I think this would be a positive move. I'm hoping it might clean up some of the
that would,
godforsaken dumping and
yeah, I hope that would clear it up,
No, I hope that would help. man.
clean it up.
If you're paying for it, it's easy to wheel your cart down to the end of your driveway, but I do know that as it stands right now, we've heard complaints about people driving around at night and throwing their trash in a commercial dumpster somewhere, or burning it or burying it. I mean, this would be a better solution
But, no, yeah,
to all of that.
because now they're paying for it, so are you gonna be that inclined to jump in your car and drive
I
somewhere?
mean,
and
if you're
just put
paying
out the
for it on your
curb?
taxes, there would be no point in throwing it out on the side of the road.
But also,
That's correct.
we're at a point where,
Theoretically, yes.
in my opinion, you're never
It's-
going to
I
find a
understand.
hauler
It's
that's going to
situational.
let people opt in, especially in a town the size of Pierson. So it's never going to be some people have trash and some people don't. It's either everybody does or no one does. And unfortunately, solid waste is just a basic form of government services that it's a base level thing that we have to provide, sanitation. So your other option is to do an RFP, and if you do an RFP, you may get some responses, but they may be like Lake Helen, where to make it financially feasible for a solid waste collector, it may be double or more than double the current price. And then you're still having to collect that from every resident. So I looked into
And I have
this.
a gut feeling with the issues we've had with GFL, and as much bitching has been done at them,
Yeah.
they're probably gonna do just exactly
Well,
that, double it or stay.
Because it's not worth it to them. I mean, why would you want to after all the complaining we've done to them, it's like, why are we listening to this for they might even be losing money on 300 houses.
Oh, they are, trust me. They are.
Which is probably why they have not shown any interest in talking to us about renegotiating or renewing a contract. They're probably ready to be done with us, I would think.
I would tell you this, we're here collecting, if you were to put out an RFP, wouldn't even bid on it.
Right.
We would.
And I would think that's probably the case for the other.
Well, I can't speak, but we would.
Right.
Woody, do y'all pick up Emporia?
Yes.
Yes. Seville.
Well, we got an issue over there with our church.
Oh, we wouldn't pick up the church.
We got a parsonage right beside the church.
Somebody lives there?
Yep.
Well, that would be
Our-
Mike.
our
You'd have to
preacher does.
Look into that.
And they wouldn't pick up his trash.
They as us.
Is y'all.
FCC.
We
They
would,
wouldn't pick it up because we had a big dumpster out for the church. Well, they got where everybody in Emporia kept that dumpster full and overfilled. So we just canceled it. Since we canceled it, different ones of the church members takes the preacher's garbage and puts it in their dump. And we don't mind paying for the service
But that's
at the
county.
church.
let's
But that's
make that
county, Jimmy.
easy.
We need to stick to
Is that
town.
parcel being charged non-ad valorem garbage tax?
Right.
That parcel. Is it, if this
Or is
county
it
is not
exempt?
charging it, we wouldn't pick it up.
Right.
The county may classify that as commercial. I don't know this. We go off of their listing.
Right, so that would be
If you
between the
call
church
the-
and the county.
Yeah,
Call the county. Call the county. If he's
Give them the
paying,
address.
Well, I'll get with the county then,
Yeah.
Just ask the
find
address.
out what about it.
and we'll
Because
deliver
we
a
don't
can.
mind paying for.
They'll look up the address real quick, and if it's
Yeah.
there, we deliver a can, and that's it.
Easy. So do we need a motion to move forward
To have
or what?
Ryan move forward, yes.
I would say you just need a motion to direct staff to proceed with, a contract to bring back to you for final approval, but we just need something to, we need to be able to sign like a letter of intent or something saying, yes, we want to use FCC. So. But also, we might need a motion, do we need to?
I'd like for y'all to verify something to me first. Say all non-city residents in the county of Volusia are paying a trash fee on their property taxes annually?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think they even look at their tax bill?
I look at
To see
mine.
that they're paying
Most
for
people
garbage?
do.
I look at mine,
I do.
I bet, well, they can if you ride around and look at all the trash that people throw out, on the outskirts of town, between here and Astor, there's always people throwing
That's
stuff
one of
out.
the
They're
reasons-
paying for it. Why the heck can't they put it in a bin?
Sometimes companies do that, and people that are not paying they're not residents, so they're just looking for trash to dump because they don't want to pay the dump. They don't want to go pay the dump
The whole
fees. So
purpose of franchising and that type of work is to avoid this, right? Because everybody's part of it. If they don't pay their non-ad valorem tax, it's not a tax, but on the tax
Assessment.
mechanism, it goes delinquent.
Right.
Now you're delinquent on your taxes, so it's a service fee through the mechanism of the taxes. That's why they call it non-ad valorem. It's not under a millage, it's not under any of that. But if you don't pay it, you're delinquent. Now, we also offer under this contract, handicap. If anybody's handicapped and they're bona fide, we go to the back door to collect. But there has to be, I don't know, whether.
it's got to be a verification of
Just a,
document.
Yes. Got to be a verified handicap person.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can't have, your
can't
20-year-old,
Able-bodied person.
your 20-year-old son, if he lives with you, he needs to go take it out. Yeah.
But that's pretty standard. But if you were to go this way, and whenever that day starts, it's seamless for us, because we're driving down a lot of your streets right now to get to the county.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Well, for instance, out on Shell Harbor Road where Brian Ashcraft lives, that little piece of property is in the county, and they pick his trash up every week. And then right next door where Mr. Powell's house is, then the other company picks that up, because that little piece is in the city. So, I mean, they ride,
Brian's piece is in the county?
it's the county, sure is.
Really?
His mother never would annex
Never would
it in.
annex.
And I will just say I've, researched it because everyone always asks. Even outside unincorporated areas, every municipality in Volusia County that has their own trash contract is doing it through either non-ad valorem or they're putting it on their utility bill.
Yeah.
To me, it would be easier to put it on the tax bill because we already have enough trouble with water billing. We don't need to add trash on top of that, I don't think.
I agree with that.
That software is hard enough to manage with just water. So, in other words, if any residents got mad, where are you going to move in Volusia County that this wouldn't be? You know what I mean?
Everybody else is doing it.
It's how everyone does it.
Probably the only.
Just to add something that Ryan said earlier, so on a monthly basis, the town will send us a listing, we'll verify it, true it up, and we will produce an invoice for our internal accounting. Okay, so we'll take your information, obviously if there's any discrepancies or whatever, that would happen, and then we just turn around and send you an invoice, so you have it, and that way you can produce it for the county or whatever you need, and it keeps our internal accounting straight. So it's a one bill, one.
I'm sure there's a ton of new homes being built in Pierson, right?
I think we had 3 last year. It was a busy year.
Yeah, up in here last year.
So that'd be pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So counties anywhere from 50 to 100. But we have
So,
some counties that are 500.
Right.
City
So
of Palm
is
Coast,
somebody getting ready to make a motion to
Yes.
proceed with the research on doing a
Yes.
contract with
Yes.
FCC?
I'd like to make a motion to allow staff to explore and negotiate any issues pertaining to a possible FCC contract.
I'll second that.
Motion
And
on-
doesn't it have to say add it to the ad valorem, or we already have that in the ordinance, so we don't
It's
have to
already
do
in
that?
the
Okay,
resolution.
There's already an ordinance
Sorry.
there.
And this will come back to a regular council meeting. This is just to get the ball rolling on the legal stuff so that we don't have to waste a bunch of time,
Yep, sorry.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson to proceed with some contract research between the town of Pierson and FCC regarding residential trash collection. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Okay. That's all we had on the agenda. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
He said he's gonna wait out.
I appreciate you as a resident.
Yes.
being
Forward to
here
the
today.
partnership. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Did he adjourn the meeting?
All right, being no further business, the meeting is adjourned.
How about that? It's good. That's good.